What is up and how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. We have a really fun edition for y'all today. We're going to have a new show preview coming out. We're going to give you the first episode directly here on the recap episode before we launch our new show with it. But without further ado, Shane O'Mac and Joey, how y'all doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Shane seems kind of rough.
I am rough, gentlemen, but I'm here. I'm fine. I just cracked 102 fever yesterday, so I'm just powering through it.
We love it, man. Like a champ, like a champ. Well, we hope you feel better soon, buddy. And Joey, we're glad to have you back too. I mean, you weren't feeling too well. I mean, I guess I'm next on the list for somebody to go down with an illness, but hopefully not. Knock on wood.
So that snowstorm that we had kind of kicked my ass, and my apartment does not exactly get above, whatever atmospheric temperature it is outside. So it didn't get above 50 the entire week last week. Now we're back up to like 70s and all that stuff. So great turnaround.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Well, guys, we got a special episode today. I know that Shane's very excited about it. I'm excited about it. Joey may be a little nervous, actually, but it's going to be a good time. We're going to actually, screw it. I'll just say it now. We're going to break down Joey's team as part of a new segment called Dynasty Doctors that we're introducing now. But we're going to get the recap out of the way. But we're going to give you episode 1 with Joey's team just in a little bit. But we got some housekeeping to do. First and foremost, we had 2 conference championship games in the NFL, gentlemen. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. But we had the Philadelphia Eagles beating the Commanders, unfortunately. I was heavily invested on the Commanders on that one. And then we actually had the Chiefs beating the Bills, or the refs, whoever you want to slice it. But that is going to be our Super Bowl matchup. Is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs and trying to stop their three-peat. Shane, any thoughts on the games that you want to get into?
The Eagles looked finally dominant. They looked like the team that Tyler's wanted them to be all year. But now they look dominant. I think they can win the Super Bowl as long as Saquon keeps being the best running back in the world. Some questionable calls that went the Chiefs' way per usual. I'm not really interested in watching the game. Might put some bets on the game, but Amy and her dad are going to Biloxi, and we're going to go have some gambling fun.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it's definitely some questionable calls for sure. Joey, what did you think about the games, buddy?
I mean, it was, the AFC game was better. That NFC game was just, it showed who wanted it a little bit more. I'm not saying that Washington didn't want it, but when your best player is the only one who's doing everything he can to try to, win the game for you, one person doesn't make an entire roster. So that finally caught up with them. I think they'll be back. I think they, plug and play a couple pieces, and, you'll see from the Commanders again for sure. On the other hand, you got the Eagles, who did win. As someone who lives and works in the city that is hosting the Super Bowl, I'm quite nervous because Philly fans are quite deranged. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They ate horse shit after they won the Super Bowl.
One did. We will say
one did. I saw, one poor gentleman kind of fell to his death climbing a light pole.
So he was 18. He was 18. He wasn't a gentleman.
Yeah, well, so that's true. But it's the NOPD has already said, do not do that if you win the Super Bowl. But hey, it's a Super Bowl nobody wanted, but it's a Super Bowl we deserve because this is what the NFL wants us to have. That's my take on it. I'm still gonna watch it because I'm a nerd and I like seeing things other than just the game. I like seeing some of the new stuff that the networks come up with. I remember, I want to say it was ABC. No, it was like ABC had this one camera where it did like the 360 around the stadium, or CBS. And it was like, that was cool to see. Seeing things like that, the new score bugs, you hope don't look atrocious because you have to deal with them until the next Super Bowl. And maybe hopefully the graphics package won't let people who are big and fat have six-pack abs as comic book characters. because I think that's atrocious, Fox. We need to get rid of that tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a little rough. I'll give you that one, but I'm gonna strictly on the football side of it. I mean, you can't fumble the ball 3 times and expect to win. You also can't let them run all over you for the commies. But look, great season. They absolutely overachieved. We can all agree there. The arrow is definitely pointing up for them. Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. Looks like a 5-year vet already. So I cannot wait to see his development grow and continue. The Eagles, I mean, like I've said it, I've stated this on the podcast. I thought they were the most talented team in the NFC, and that really kind of showed. Yeah, the turnovers didn't help, but the better team won in the end, I believe. It'll be very interesting to see how this game plays out. I have it going to be on the lower side, and we'll see where it goes. It's going to really come down to whether Saquon can carry the Eagles or not. Let's call it what it is. And some interesting notes. It's not official yet, but it looks like they're going to hire Kellen Moore as their new head coach. We'll dive a little deeper on it when the hire is official. I don't want to speculate just because, look, we've thought many candidates were going to be the guy, and that hasn't come to fruition. Just kind of overviewing it. I don't hate the hire. I like it. They're taking a swing for the fences. And it seems like it's going to happen. But is there anything else you want to talk about the Super Bowl matchup before we start some what's the thing we're going to do? A trivia after this.
Just kind of, I want to get y'all's opinion, see if y'all been able to kind of move around with all the Super Bowl preparations that have been going on. I know getting into work for me has been a little rougher.
I want to jump back on that one because that's going to do something I have to talk about in a minute, Joey,
okay.
with like the NFL experience and shit.
But
like that. Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
It's really cool seeing like all the shit that they do around the city, like the building wraps and all that stuff. Like, you know, seeing the Superdome look like that. You don't see that. Typically, it's just the bare gold that they have. But, you know, a lot of the work that they do it's been really nice. It's kind of put, I don't want to say like lipstick on a pig, but, you know, it looks really good, and it definitely brings the city, you know, a little more to the forefront. It makes things look a little nicer. Seeing the building wraps looks really cool, you know, like.
And for those who aren't watching on YouTube right now, we're showing some different wraps and things that they're doing around the city. It's really cool. I highly recommend y'all, you know, Google some of these images as well. And that's just for our Spotify listeners. For their listeners on YouTube and watchers on YouTube, we appreciate y'all. And man, there was some cool things, Joey. Thanks for putting that together for us, for sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, I work in the print industry, so we've been able to print a lot of stuff for the Super Bowl. We're still printing stuff for the Super Bowl. It's cool to be a part of something big like that, especially, you know, just even seeing that logo come across my desk to, hey, print this. It's, you know, it's a lot of work for sure. I think I was at work till like 3 a.m. 2 of the last 4 days trying to get stuff done for it. And it's a lot of work. Definitely appreciate what you see around with that like that ability to not get into work as easily.
Well, yeah, for security purposes, I know they've locked down a lot of the city, and unfortunately, it's just something we have to deal with. I mean, but it's Mardi Gras. I mean, with Mardi Gras being right around the corner too, it's going to be a cluster for a little bit. I feel for anybody that has to work in the city. But Shane, I see you wanted to say something. You had something to add about the game?
I would just say back to the division games. You know, if you look at the stats that Josh Allen had, the Bills in the offseason got to spend some money on defense. They've given up over 28 points. Like he's had only 1 interception in those games. He's done everything he can with not that great of a supporting cast. It's like that was one thing I wanted to say. I just think they need to spend some money on defense. I don't know if you guys saw the logo for next year's Super Bowl, which means
Joey actually
Detroit and the Bills, right? I think it's lining up for Detroit and the Bills, or
it could be the Colts.
Let's
so
go
Detroit
Bills.
and the Bills.
The Bills.
So, you know, unless they bring Peyton Manning back, the Colts don't look like they can do anything.
Hey, Anthony Richardson's gonna take that 3rd-year leap, man. Come on now.
Listen, Detroit and Buffalo, y'all's fans better be excited because the NFL script writers have gotten every logo correct.
And no, I'm excited to talk more in depth about Kellen Moore. I know we'll do that on another episode, but if that comes to fruition, I think that's so just from what I'm reading, a solid hire.
I do
Yeah,
I do have a gripe about the whole Kellen Moore situation. The man's preparing for a Super Bowl, and they're talking about how, he doesn't like the quarterback room with the Saints. He doesn't like this. It's like, let him prepare for a Super Bowl and then start talking about this stuff. That's a distraction for him.
well,
Like they're talking about
Comes with the territory.
Yeah, I was about to say if
it
that's
does. It does.
now,
But I think at some point, what they need is they need to start having maybe a hiring freeze when the playoffs start. Like, hey, you can interview. Like, we're not doing this because if I'm a guy who plays on the offense and I really like Kellen Moore's style, and it's like, oh, he might be leaving me next year, then it's like, if I have to weigh my options, I'm thinking about that a little bit. That's in the back of my head, not Super Bowl preparation for someone who hasn't been there before.
As a professional, you have to compartmentalize all that stuff and not worry about that. I'd be more concerned with the fact that my player is more worried about my next job stop than preparing for the Super Bowl than anything. And I'd probably cut his ass anyway if that really affected his thing. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think this is more just a story. You can't do a hiring freeze just the way the NFL schedule is lined up. And they're not going to put a break in the middle because the NFL has done a great job of basically controlling stories throughout the entire year, which they haven't been able to do with the offseason beforehand, right? So you get a little dead period, a supposed dead period, but then you have the combine, you have the draft, you have offseason, you have all these moves and stuff like that. So it really doesn't, the cycle doesn't stop. So putting a freeze on it you would essentially have to pause everything else and move it back, which would ruin the schedule. I don't disagree with you. It is a distraction, especially being in the city that you're going to be coaching in more than likely. But you just got to compartmentalize that and just do your job and worry about the next job after that. Because, look, you come out and lay a freaking egg, you're going to hear nothing but that the entire offseason.
And the quarterback room does suck, so he's right on that.
Yeah, eyeliner Andy Dalton, get out of here. Anyway.
They said there's possible moves for him.
Well, you know what? One can dream. I added it to my Christmas list, but it's a little too far away.
Tyler's not going to like this, but I think what's going to happen is if Cam Ward goes first and Shedeur Sanders goes second, the Giants are going to trade for Derek Carr.
God, I hope so. I hope so.
Well, I think your boy Neighbors can still thrive with him, but where they were talking like Cam Ward wasn't going to go first, so the two teams were going to get the quarterback. I could see Carr being on the move.
I hope so. I mean, look, I would hate that for Malik Neighbors, but as a Saints fan, there's no upside to keeping him here at all. There's not. It's just a $50 million wart you got to stare right in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and nothing against him personally. I think he talks out of both sides of his face. I've never had an issue with any of my teammates. Yet you get into 4 altercations on the field because you're just an asshole. Yeah. So I don't believe that. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to get too far downhill because we know I'm going to start a soliloquy. But anyway, I digress.
Trivia time.
It is.
And just so you know, the word soliloquy is the drinking word of the day. So if you heard that, take a drink.
What Shane's not telling you is that's full of NyQuil.
No, that's Maureen Kerwin's healing elixir.
Vodka. Got it.
Nope. Bourbon.
Nope. Bourbon.
Honey.
Right. Good old Southern cure. So, Joey, Quizmaster, I should say.
So,
take it away, my friend.
We're going to do this opportunity fell in my lap thanks to a little page called WTF Stats. I'm going to ask both of these gentlemen a question. They're going to get one question each. They have the opportunity to steal. They have 30 seconds to answer the question. After that, we're going to have rapid fire, lightning round, back and forth, 8 seconds apiece to give me an answer until everything is done or they just plain quit.
I quit.
I have a coin. Who wants to call it?
I'll let Tyler go. He's the host.
Tails. Am I the host? Oh, shit.
It is Tails. Would you like to go first or second?
This is freaking rigged. This is rigged.
I'll go first.
Okay. 30 seconds to answer this question. You won't hear a sound. I will tell you when to stop. Shane, once he doesn't get the answer correct, Uh,
I don't really like how you imply Tyler's a pretty knowledgeable guy in football.
And I will
he's gonna
say,
win all
you'll
that.
get-
Oh, that
I'll give
qualifies
you-
with football.
you get one final answer. So
Okay. Go
all right,
ahead, big
you'll
dog.
have.
Let's do
But
it.
Shane, if he gets it wrong, you get 15 seconds to steal. All right, you ready?
Yep. Where's America?
Since 2003, how many different quarterbacks from the AFC have reached the Super Bowl? Timer starts now.
Okay, so you got Mahomes, Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning, Flacco.
10 seconds.
Is it 5?
Final answer.
5 is, 5's my answer.
Shane to steal.
Since 02 or 03?
03.
03.
So I think he threw me off because I saw this stat the other day. It was 7 since 02, so I think it's 6 since 03.
That is
Oh,
correct.
Who
It
am I
would've been-
missing?
You are missing
Rich
Heisman
Gannon was
Trophy-
in 02.
Heisman Trophy winner for LSU, Joe Burrow.
Oh, I didn't think of the Bengals AFC. Damn it.
Okay.
So that's a point
Yeah.
for Shane.
Yep.
Shane, yours is not going to be as easy. Since 2003, how many different quarterbacks from the NFC have made it to the Super Bowl? Timer starts
19.
now.
Yeah, it's way more.
You must have seen the same exact stat that I saw.
I've seen the stat, but it was 02. So I knew it was 7 and 20. I'm taking one away from each.
Okay,
So it should be 19.
that's correct.
Okay.
So 19 quarterbacks from the NFC have made it to the Super Bowl. In the same amount of time, only 6 have made it from the AFC.
Yeah.
It's a crazy
Yeah,
stat.
Brady and Mahomes have owned the AFC.
Now, here's where the fun begins.
Oh, Jesus.
You have to name all 19 starting quarterbacks.
03,
One
right?
at a time since 03. Now, it's one at a time. You get one guess, 8 seconds per guess. And I'll say, when I say your name, that's when the timer starts.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
So, Tyler, you will go first. Name the NFC quarterbacks since 2003 that have made it to the Super Bowl. Timer
All right.
starts now.
Warner. Oh, I got to do all of them?
No, just
Or
one.
Just one.
That's
yeah,
correct.
Warner. Yep.
Shane,
Donovan McNabb.
that is correct. Tyler,
Manning.
that is correct. Shane,
Drew Brees.
that is correct. Tyler,
Rodgers.
that is correct. Shane,
Purdy.
correct. Tyler,
Garoppolo.
checking. That is correct. Shane,
Let's just round out the San Francisco 49ers with Kaepernick.
that is correct. Tyler,
Stafford.
correct. Shane,
Jalen Hurts.
correct. Tyler,
Fudge.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm blanking here.
Shane,
Cam Newton.
correct.
Newton.
Tyler,
Dude, I'm blanking as a mofo right now. Just pass. I don't know. I gotta think for a second.
Shane,
Russell Wilson.
is correct.
Golf.
Correct. Shane,
Nick Foles.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Nick Foles was on that list.
That's a good one, man.
Tyler,
I got another good one.
Pass. Go. Pass the chance.
Rex Grossman.
No, that's a really.
I
good
just saw his name as I was going down the list. All right,
And
let
I
me make sure y'all didn't get them all. Hold on.
I think there's another one. And this
Go
is,
ahead,
this
Shane.
Is it Jake Delhomme?
Yes,
Yep. Wait.
yes, that's the
Yeah, Delhomme would've
2003
been
Super
03.
Bowl.
That would have been 3. Yeah. Sorry, I was.
Let me
trying to
make sure.
remember
Hold
who it was
on.
Oh, I know one we didn't name
Go ahead.
because they tragically lost 28-3. Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah. Well, we
Yep.
also hate the Falcons.
You
so.
have
Well,
one more. One more.
Can I get a year?
2005.
Was it the Seahawks? Was it Matt Hasselbeck?
It was Hasselbeck. Yep.
Yep.
I was trying to remember who it was, and I'm like, I know 05
Let me make sure y'all. Let me make sure I'm right on that.
Damn. Okay. I did okay. Thought I was gonna do a little better.
To be fair, Tyler, I saw this graphic earlier in the week.
Okay.
And I saved this graphic to be my trivia.
That was going to be your trivia.
Okay, so I didn't study it that well, but I did have it saved. I could pull it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up.
That's great. That's amazing.
I
That's
don't know
fun.
if you could. I don't know if you could see it. It's not going to come in, but I did.
It's not
have
coming
it
in,
saved.
but that's amazing. Oh, I see it.
There it is. I could just go ahead and delete that, Joey.
Well, what that means though, Shane, is I think it's time.
Wait, is that all Joey had?
Yeah, I just had that one.
Yeah, I think
Shane, you won by a lot.
Can I throw in a bonus?
Okay.
Can you throw in a bonus? What's the bonus?
Let's take it easy over here, okay?
I found two things.
Okay.
Let's see if you guys can get it. This is on.
I feel like this is the "How dumb can Tyler look" segment.
Do you want me to do you want me to do the timer?
No.
Okay.
Tom Brady has a winning record against every team except for two teams.
All right, I know the Saints is one of them.
The Saints is not one of them.
Really?
He has a winning record, and to be honest with you, he's tied two teams that he's played.
So he doesn't have a losing
9-9.
record. He doesn't have a losing record against any
team in the NFL.
Damn.
Is one of them the Giants?
No.
I have no clue, dude. I want to say
I want to guess, so don't give it to me.
It's gonna be something stupid like the Cardinals or something that he played like 2 times in his fucking career.
Well, if he's 2-2,
he's 2.
I know.
That tells you it's an
4.
NFC team.
And he's 9-9 against another one.
Is it one NFC and one AFC?
It's got to be one.
The NFC team.
Damn, I could have sworn it was the Saints.
I don't feel like he's played the Rams that often.
I mean,
he's 6-4 against the Rams.
Fuck. Okay.
Cardinals. Screw it.
He is 2-1 versus the Cardinals.
Oh, so
okay. So then, is it the Seahawks?
He's 3-2 versus the Seahawks.
Damn.
He is. I'm gonna just go ahead and. He's 2-2 versus the 49ers.
That was my next guess.
He's 9-9 versus the Broncos.
Damn, that was my next guess.
All right.
No,
it really wasn't.
I was legit going through the NFC West. Like, it's going to be one of those because if he's 3-1 against this team, if he's 3-2 against another team.
Look, I get it. Wow. Guys, we have successfully proven that I do not.
Done.
Easier said than done. Jeez.
I got one more for you. I got one more.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Since the Super Bowl started, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's been 9 times that they've gone back-to-back the Super Bowl champions. Can you name the 9 teams that have done it?
Okay.
The Patriots are one.
Patriots, Broncos,
Chief Patriots,
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Niners.
So Niners, Cowboys,
Steelers.
Steelers.
Okay. Patriots.
Yep.
Chiefs.
Yep. Back in the day, it's got to be.
Was it the Patriots twice?
Packers.
It is not the Patriots twice, but there is a team who's done it twice.
Packers is one of them.
Packers is one of them. They won the first 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that was the first 2 I'm thinking of. Teams that went back-to-back twice. It's not the Steelers, not the Cowboys.
49ers.
The 49ers have gone once.
Oh, only once? Okay.
Not the Patriots, not
the Cowboys.
No, so you've gotten the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Steelers, and the Packers.
The
You're
Steelers
missing
did it back to back again.
the Steelers did do it back to back, 74, 75, 78, 79.
Okay.
And you're missing one team.
This is a second team?
This is the last team that y'all haven't guessed.
Okay, so we haven't guessed them yet. Okay.
Giants?
Nope. I didn't know this one. This one got me. Just so I know.
Yeah, if it got you, then it's probably gonna get me. Rams?
No.
No, they went one and then one lost.
You said the Broncos.
It's not the Ravens. And we're talking Super Bowls, not like NFL championship BS.
Super Bowl winners.
Not the Giants.
No, I said the Giants. Not the Colts.
It is the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
1972
I said Dolphins.
The undefeated year.
Yeah, I said Dolphins.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you say
Oh,
Dolphins.
good. We're good. Cool. Yeah. All right, yeah. No, I said it because I was at Mercury Morris, RIP. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Okay, cool. I don't feel as dumb anymore, guys. Thank you. But, yeah. So with all that, is there any more trivia questions, guys?
Nope.
No? Well, guys, I think it's time to introduce our new segment. And guess what, Shane? We have a new drop for it, too. You ready for it?
I can't wait.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. We're dropping it now, baby. The doctors are in, baby. Welcome to our new segment. It is going to be the Dynasty Doctors, where we're going to take teams that are in our Dynasty divisions. We're going to break them down. Look, we're offering our team, me and Shane's team, up for tribute as well. And we're going to break them down, give them a course of action, and diagnose their problems, and prescribe, and like I said, prescribe a course of action for them to heal their team. And today's going to be Joey's turn to be tribute here. Broseph, are you ready? I'm going to hand over the hosting duties to you, sir.
All right, so I'm going to pull up my roster that we are going to dissect straight from the website that we use, which was Flea Flicker this past year.
We will be changing it, though.
We'll be changing it. So this is my team. The starters at the time of the games that I played that week don't reflect how I did the whole season. My record, as you can see, was 2-2. Or 2-12, I should say. I like to make it sound better than it was going to be. So injuries just kind of kicked my ass all year. Not evident by my IR spots being only 2 and one of them actually being healthy. So, yeah, I had Brock Purdy, Jaden Daniels.
We'll break it down for you, buddy.
Yeah, y'all have the breakdown already. Y'all have looked at it. Y'all have dissected it. I have gotten y'all's prescriptions that y'all have sent me. So go ahead. What is your first recommendation?
So we're going to start off here. We're going to go position by position here. And I'm going to start with quarterbacks here. We've discussed this beforehand. Me and Shane have discussed an order here. I'm going to start with quarterbacks. Like you said before, you have Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy on your team. And from my point of view, I think that the cornerstone, that Jaden Daniels is personally one of your cornerstones on your team. Running quarterback, you cannot find enough of them. It's essentially a cheat code at the position, and he's going to provide a floor for you that's going to last you for a good long while.
Now can I interrupt?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Should we say what the rules for this league are?
Well, it's a full point PPR, one quarterback league. Just
and what about like how long can I keep these players?
Oh, it's a dynasty league. For those who don't know, dynasty players, you can hold on for the entirety of the career. You can even hold them past retirement. You don't have to drop them at the start of each year. So this is when essentially you draft your team at the beginning, or what they call a startup draft. That's your team for forever, and then you start making moves and making trades. Trades in the draft are essentially going to be your two avenues of improving your team. So that's a little bit of a breakdown of those who don't understand what a dynasty league is. It's essentially your own team that you keep for forever, or for as long as the team is around for. With that being said, like I said, Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy are your two quarterbacks. I like both of them. Personally, I would ride with Jaden Daniels as long as I can. I think the upside's just there. For instance, he's currently ranked the quarterback 3 on Keep Trade Cut. And for those who don't know, Keep Trade Cut is a crowdsourced information site where basically you can kind of get the fantasy stock, if you will say, of that player. So it basically helps out with getting an idea of how to gauge certain players. So like I said, Jaden Daniels finished as one of the top quarterbacks in the league this year. Quarterback 3 currently going on Keep Trade Cut. So he's a high commodity. I would hold on to him. Brock Purdy, that would be the guy I would move. Maybe what you're kind of looking at, though, is more of a second round pick, maybe even a third. I don't know if you get it this year, especially in the league we're playing in, but that would be my kind of prescription when it comes to the quarterback position. Hold on to Jaden Daniels and ride through and trade Brock Purdy. But Shane, I know you have a little bit different thoughts on this. What do you think about the quarterback position, buddy?
So he's got 2 solid options, right? Daniels is elite. Totally agree with that. Purdy, top 10 potential, finished 14th this year. Not sure you could trade Purdy. So my suggestion was put Daniels on the trade block. You don't have to trade him, but see if you get like a stupid offer, right? Like, so when you're looking at competing, you're very rough at running back. Tight end, okay. I like your 2 or 3 year receivers, but you need some help all over the team. So I'm not saying you have to trade them. I'm just saying throw him out there and see what you get offered. You would need to get something ridiculous to trade him, but if not, I think you rock with Daniels, like Tyler said. I don't know if you get anything for Purdy, but it's never horrible to have a solid backup when you have a quarterback who likes to run. So it's definitely, to me, your strongest position currently.
Yeah, looking at an overview of the roster, I would say the biggest hole is going to be the position we covered next. Is going to be running back. Tight end, there needs to be a solid. Could improve maybe, and then wide receiver 2. There's just more question marks, but I like the upside you have there at some of your picks. So Shane, why don't you just start going down with the running backs now, and we'll just kind of reflect it after every list.
Yeah, so I would say biggest weakness here, Joey. If you weren't keen on trading Daniels for a haul, I would potentially dangle B-Rob and ATN. People might, you have Daniels. See if you can get something for Brian Robinson. See if you can get something for ATN. Ray Davis looks like a good sit and wait candidate. Some reason James Cook goes out. He's going to be focal point of that offense with Allen. And then I would target what you have in the first pick. I would target Genty and potentially other running backs in the draft. So I would potentially try to trade ATN, maybe somebody might still believe in him. I know me and Tyler were talking about him. It's he has not looked good last year, but he is getting a offensive minded coach. I don't know what they could do with him. Somebody might believe in it. I would try to trade him and then get some picks to, there's some running backs who have some potential in this draft besides Genty that you could really try to build up that position group. If not, I would, if you can't get anything solid for Brian Robinson, I would go into the year with him and Genty as your starting running backs.
So I have the number 1 pick in the draft, as I
Yes.
am the worst, obviously. Genty was more than likely going to be the pick because, again, like you said, I'm good at quarterback. Running back is where I'm kind of thin. I felt wide receiver was one of my weaker points just because I felt like a lot of times I'd go into the week and I'd be panicking, like, who do I need? I need to pick somebody up. And everybody I'd go to pick up would either be already picked up in waiver or they were just gone already. So,
well, we're looking at least I can only speak for myself. I was looking at more of a frame of looking towards 2025, right?
Yes.
I can't focus on last year. So I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna start with running back thoughts real quick, and then I'll jump to the wide receivers. Running back, I agree with Shane. It's probably your weakest position right now. I don't disagree with the number 1 pick trading. I know there's some people in our league that would probably trade a haul for it. So basically, what you have to do is outweigh whether A, how far back you're gonna have to drop back, B, what you can get in return, and C, do you see Genty as, like, for instance, do you see Genty as a Bijan level player? When that draft happened, you could have offered me 3 first-round picks. I probably wasn't trading it for Bijan. That's how much I believed in him because I watched a lot of tape on him, that kind of thing. You have to determine that. That would be my recommendation, is just determine whether you think he is a I don't want to say franchise. That sounds so dumb. Talk about dynasty, a cornerstone asset. You know what I mean? I think he is. Landing spot's gonna have a lot to do with it, but man, just with running back being the way it is, I'd hold on to one unless you get some kind of monster offer. And I mean, it could happen. So I would say dangle it out there. But Brian Robinson, I'd personally, of course, see who you can get for him. I like him. He's a solid bet for 6 to 8 touchdowns a year. He's going to be more of your RB2, though. So definitely the search for a running back is going to be key. And with that being said, I want to segue into the wide receiver position group because I feel like you have some potential guys that still can hold some value that may have not done a lot last year, but could either skyrocket or hold their value where you can probably flip him for a running back this year, right? And those are going to be, so BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., absolutely out of the park. That is a cornerstone wide receiver. There's no reason you should ever move him. Arrow's only going up. Yeah. I didn't think you were. Now, this is where it gets interesting, though. You have Rome Odunze, and you also have Ricky Pearsall. 2 rookie wide receivers. And actually, I'll throw him in here. You have Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, I would sell as fast as I possibly could. That is going to be expiring goods. Hell, second round pick next year, maybe. I'd take it in a heartbeat. I just don't see I don't see him being on the roster, and 2, I don't see him lasting much longer in the league. Nothing from a talent point of view. The dude's just getting beat up at this point of his career. So that would be my advice. There is definitely trade Samuel if you can as soon as possible. That would be, and then just keep acquiring assets. So if you're not able to move Samuel and you're stuck with him, Pearsall may be a pivot that you may want to look into if you're looking, okay, I don't want to wait another year for Pearsall to actually be something. He's looked good. He looked good towards the end of the year, and that may get some people excited. So maybe you can dangle it for a younger running back. You know what I mean? Maybe you probably get a running back of the same level or caliber range-wise as Brian Robinson, if I had to guess.
It didn't help that I drafted him, and we all know what happened to him. So I didn't get the full Pearsall experience for.
He wasn't going to be a number 1 receiver this year anyway.
No, he was. But I looked at him. I looked at him as, okay, let's see what he's got going into this year. See what he could provide. Maybe work his way up, possibly through hard work and determination that he would have to, jump a Deebo, or maybe even hope Deebo left and a couple other pieces fell. But I started in a hole with him, having to go straight to IR.
Well, look, it's just, he's, like I said, he was always a stash play. But another wide receiver I want to touch on is Wan'Dale Robinson. Being that this is a PPR league, hold on to him. He's worth a flex spot every now and then because, if they keep peppering him at targets, yeah, he may only get 20 yards out of the 10 catches he has, but guess what? You got 10 points. You got 12 points there already. So it's not a bad flex spot if you need him. But I don't think he's a cornerstone. But that would be my 2 suggestions there is see what you can get for Pearsall. If you want to move that route, but my first goal would be moving Samuel. I would not move Rome Odunze unless you're getting a haul because with Ben Johnson coming in, the dude was specifically drafted to be Caleb Williams number 1, and I think Keenan Allen takes a big step back now that we're out from under Shane Waldron hell of play calling duties. Shane, is there anything you want to add on to for the receivers?
Yeah, one, totally agree. I think this is Joey's most solid position group. Stud BTJ. Odunze, I think, is going to take a step forward in Ben Johnson's system. I don't even think Keenan Allen's under contract with the Bears. They've been talking about him going other places. I love Pearsall. I would trade you for him right now. I liked how he looked last year. I think they move on from Deebo. He looked like he had some rapport with Purdy. So I think he's a strong flex. Might not get it done every week, but I do like him. I agree on Wanderlei. So where I would, and I'll kind of get into this with the defensive and kicker thing, but you always want to just stockpile players. So I don't ever keep kickers and defenses in the offseason because I try to grab if I'm out of it, I'm trying to grab players who have potential. I'll pick up a kicker and a defense the week before they start the season. So I've done that in the past, and I've wound up after the draft and the free agencies opened up, I picked up Puka, who wasn't drafted in our rookie league, and now I get Puka for his whole season. Now I've picked up other guys who haven't panned out, but like you want to throw as much running back and receivers on your team and see how they hit. They're same thing. Somebody got McMillan last year, started slow. Someone dropped him. I picked him up. I think he could have a big year next year, big leap forward. Chris Godwin's a free agent. So you really want to hold on to as many running backs and receivers as you can.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely a better problem to have more than you need than not have enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of leads into my overall assessment of your team and where I think it should go. It's just gathering assets. You got just stockpile assets. Look, you got a bunch of draft picks. I know this year, I think you just got your 3. And then I think next year you have a bunch of draft picks.
I had pulled up on this thing that we could see. Here's my picks for the next 3 years.
So yeah,
this doesn't reflect is that second round pick is actually the first pick in the second round.
2-1.
The flea flicker does not let you adjust that.
So yeah, you have high picks. And look, and speaking of the picks real quick, if you wanted to compete this year, I don't suggest doing this, but I think your window of winning is next year in 26 or having be competitive. I would not trade the assets in 26. I just wouldn't. It's not, but you can if you feel like you want to acquire more things for 25. Just give me the option. I personally wouldn't do that. Shane, what do you think? You think hold on to 26 assets?
Yeah, I think, where you're going to fall is with Daniels, say you get a Genty, a B-Rob. With the team, if those guys we talked about all hit, your starting lineup looks pretty good. You don't have a lot of depth. You could fall middle of the pack. You could fall where you're competing for that 6th spot. We have 6 people out of 10 that make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you really need to assess your team after the draft and say, okay, well, I'm still going to try to fall at that 1st, 2nd spot in the draft next year and really try to solidify my team, or I feel good with the moves I made and going to try to compete. I agree with Tyler. I think you're more competing in 26, 27.
And that's not a bad thing. It's because
the problem that I had was in the first year of this league, I was 1 win away from a playoff spot. Then you go into this past year, I fall to 2-12, which
I mean, dude, look, same here. I was the number 1 scoring team in the league last year and missed the playoffs this year. Stuff just happens, you know. And
who won the league this year?
Okay, Shane. Okay, look, perfect example.
The guy whose team name is injured reserve.
Yeah, top 3 pick.
Everybody was hurt year 1. Everybody was hurt year 1.
Year to year. So the way I like to view fantasy, and I think Shane will kind of agree with me here, is in a 2 to 3 year window. Really attack it. We're coming up on the 3rd year here, so I need to make a choice on my roster right now whether how I'm gonna go. But right now, Joey, you're in a good spot. It's just gonna be the level of patience you can have. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
All joking aside, I did win this year, but I got extremely lucky. I caught lightning in a bottle. There was a way more talented team who got injured this year, and I got lucky and rode it and won. But I'm already looking at making moves to try to strengthen my roster because I don't feel like I could get back to the championship and win with the current state of my team. So, and we'll get into that when we look at my team. Yeah. Same as Tyler's. Tyler scored the most points. He didn't make it. At some point in time, there is luck involved in this. You can
100%.
have as much knowledge you have to get lucky too. So,
like you said, lightning in a bottle, right? So
Yeah.
let's keep this going. Shane, you want to jump on the tight ends, and look, we'll just lump these three together. How's that sound? Tight end, kickers, and defenses.
Yes. So good group if Hawkinson's healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be curious to see who's quarterbacking that team if they're going to keep Sam Darnold for a year. But Hawkinson was coming on. You know, he's going to get you points from receptions. I feel like he needs to get a touchdown to really be great. But
I think Hawkinson also last year was hurt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he was coming back from a knee injury. Yeah.
I would dangle out Kincaid. Some guys still believe in him. I was a big believer in him when he was a rookie. See if you can get something for him. You're only going to play one tight end unless you have somebody like Bowers and Kelsey or so. Komet's a good backup, especially in the Ben Johnson system. So I would see if you can get anything for Kincaid. At the time I wrote this, I didn't realize Tucker was hanging out with Deshaun Watson. I would just drop him. You know, I would drop 2 out of 3 of your defenses, or all of them, right? After the draft, like we talked about, stockpile running backs and receivers who are out there. You always want to have players on good offenses. You know, take shots on people. You know, if you want to keep one, obviously I would say 49ers and Steelers over the Saints. But and then with your draft picks, like Tyler said, unless you got a huge offer for the first round pick, I would draft Genty. Maybe I think we're going to do like we did in our other Dynasty League. You're going to be sitting in a good spot to trade that first pick in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
See who falls, you know, see who falls, see how it all plays out. You can always trade that the day of the draft. So
for
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chit. Oh, no, I was going to say for instance, look, Bowers dropped in another league me and Shane are in, and there was essentially a bidding war at number 10 to get up there. So always be on the lookout for any extra assets you can stockpile, right? Like that's all it's about. Asset that you can re-roll and flip into other things. So it's weird to say, but you're making moves for the next move, if that makes sense. Yep.
You're playing chess, not checkers.
Exactly. So real fun, since we're talking about trading a 101, according to Keep Trade Cut, some comparative straight up offers for the 101, okay? Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, which I would not do for a tight end. I'm sorry. Just positional value.
I wouldn't do it for Marvin Harrison Jr.
That one's interesting to me. That one's interesting. What about this one? JSN?
Nope.
HN.
I'd have to think about that, but I would rather. I mean, I don't
I'd
know
be
if you
leaning
watched
no
the
on that
highlights.
one.
I don't know if you saw the highlights of Genty versus Penn
sold.
State.
Yeah,
the dude's a stud.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sold. You don't have to sell me. I'm just putting out
because I feel like
I was thinking about A-Chain.
I feel like if I'm at 101, I'm more than likely, because of who I need, I'm going Genty.
Yeah.
So I'm basically trading a running back because that's a need. My team need is a running back. So A-Chain, you have to refamiliarize me with Miami's running back room, but I feel like the last time I remember, it was pretty stacked.
He's taken over.
He's taken over.
He finished 5th overall in points this year.
Yeah.
Mostert's like 31. He's done. I think Jalen Wright's like spelling him. His backfield.
He's the backup. Yep.
But they're two totally different type of running backs. Genty's like Saquon, right? He's a bruiser. He's a bruiser. He's a little bit stronger. A-Chain's like a scat back.
I feel like Genty, and tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like if I went for Genty, it's not necessarily to be, okay, I've got him, he's going to start producing immediately. It's going to be, this year's going to be a show me what you got. Next year's going to be the, okay. I mean, he's going to have free reign to run, but
he's the
dynasty wise.
So this is all, Joey. We probably would have like and maybe we do this. We have a recap on your team after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he goes to the Chargers, if he goes to the Cowboys, there's potential he could go to the Bears. He's going to go to certain teams. He's going to be their running back.
Right.
It's not like he's going to go to the Saints and he's going to compete with Kamara for touches. There's certain places he lands that he's the clear-cut guy if he's healthy, and there's certain places where you scratch your head, like when Zach Charbonnet went to the Seahawks and you were worried about Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet splitting time, which you've seen when Kenneth Walker's down, Zach Charbonnet looks great. When they're both healthy, you're ripping your hair out if you have either of them playing fantasy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I completely agree. And Joey, to your point, if you take Ngenti at 101, I would expect elite running back production. Like, I'm not saying, look, I don't want to say he's got to be a top 5 back, top 10 back even, but you still want an RB2. You know what I mean? Like
if I'm taking him at number 1, I want him to be a starter.
Yeah, you want to, yeah, 100%.
But like Shane said, after the draft, we don't know where these guys are going right now. We have an idea.
Oh, yeah.
We know who's looking at what. We know what their needs are. But it's, if Ngenti, like Shane said, goes to a place where there's already an established running back and they're just like, oh, we want a good third down back or whatever, then it's like, do I really want to pick up Ngenti that early for a number 1 pick when that's going to be his spot for the next couple of years? If my window is the next couple of years, or am I going to say, hey, I'm going to get him and I'm going to have him so that he's on my roster?
Well, that's where
when that eventuality happens that he becomes a number 1.
So let me put it to you this way, buddy. A few years back when we had our first rookie draft in our other league, I went on a limb and took Drake London over Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I went against consensus and everything like that. And now hindsight being 2020, I'm glad I did. I'd much rather have Drake London than Breece Hall right now. It's just, you don't know how it's going to play out. But the 2 years before that, I was kicking myself for not taking Breece Hall. But you just never know how the situation is going to change. So you really got to, my best advice is look at talent. Now, granted, if they go to a team and they have 5 wide receivers established in front of them, then or he gets horrible draft capital, but I thought he was talented, then okay, maybe it's time to reevaluate. But like for example, for recent kind of draft capital stuff, Malik Neighbors, shit quarterback situation, dude still produced. Brock Bowers, shit quarterback situation, dude still produced. It's all about the talent. I try to go with more talent than situation.
What's around them.
Yeah. Because circumstances can always change.
Yeah.
But so one quick thing before we wrap it up, or you know what, Shane, is there anything else you want to talk about for Joey's team, or is there anything less for us doctors to kind of prescribe for him?
No, I think we laid it out. Like I said, throw some of those guys out for trade, see what you get offered. You don't have to accept any of it, but you're not going to play more than one tight end. You got some guys out there that you could see if you get any kind of stupid offers. And then, but I think you've got a clear path to rebuild the team.
Yes, 100%. One other thing I would add about the running backs is also be on the lookout for veteran guys that change teams. That may be a little bit on the radar, aka J.K. Dobbins.
Mm-hmm.
That guy came off the bench and was one of my starting running backs for a good bit this year. So it's just stuff like that. Is just you're gonna have to find value, and just start piecing together. But real quick, I want to get y'all's opinion on this, and I'll start with Shane on this one, or maybe I won't start with Shane on this one. All right, we'll start. More hype coming out as a prospect, Bijan or Ashton Genty?
I would say that Bijan had more coming out.
So.
I've been a big proponent of Genty. I felt like with the team he was on, to me, they're two totally different players. You got a guy who's on a big focal point team like Texas, and then you got a guy in Boise State who, to me, was the team.
He was.
But no, I would say Bijan.
Has a better question.
I'd agree with Shane on that.
For both of y'all, who do y'all like better coming out of college? And I'll tell you, I mean, I can tell you now, I liked Bijan a lot more, but I will openly admit I have an open love affair with him. Like,
I would
honestly.
say Bijan I like better coming out only because of the opponents. Look at who Ashton Genty played this year. He played
Level
in the
opponent.
Mountain West. Look at who Bijan played. He played, he went against SEC opponents.
Well,
In his year in Texas, he went against Alabama, but he played against Big 12 teams. I'd say the Big 12 is a little bit better than the they were in the Big 12 conference when he left, but he still had Alabama on that schedule. He still had
that's very true.
So he played the tougher opponent coming out of college. So I think that's where my hey, I don't know factor of Genty, the little bit of doubt about Genty is that who did he play in college?
Yeah, I mean,
when he played, excuse me, when he played Penn State, he only got 100 yards.
Yeah,
compared
that's still
to which I'm not saying isn't.
Yeah,
I'm saying only 100 yards, considering every other game he was almost about to break the rushing record.
Completely agree with you.
So
that's
where my idea is.
I'm gonna give him some credit though. That line for Penn State, you're looking at possible number 1 overall pick in Carter. You're also looking at some other just mean mofos, and he still ran for 100 yards on him. Now, granted, they gave him the ball a lot, but I totally understand where you're coming from on the hesitation to crown him yet.
And that's the only hesitation is because of who he played. He's still talented. I want to see what he's going to look like if he has a pro day. I want to see what he looks like at a combine, and all that. And then depending on when the draft is, see what he does in the preseason. If it's after the preseason starts,
Yeah. So Shane,
because I don't think we have a date set for the draft or a time frame set for this draft.
It'll be about a week or two after the
real draft. 2 weeks after the NFL draft.
Okay, so it's in May. All right.
Yeah, it's always in May.
Okay,
you got time.
Yeah, I would say this. I to me, Abdul Carter's the best prospect in the draft for me, the defensive lineman. If you're, everyone wants to go quarterback. I like Genty. I'm not saying that I feel stronger about him than Bijan. He might land in a better situation than Bijan. Bijan was misused the first 2 years. I think Tyler agreed with me. And even this year, as good as he was, he just was more consistent. I was telling Tyler this, I had him, and I had to go back and look. He was the 3rd best scoring running back in fantasy, but I didn't feel that when I had him, right? He was very consistent.
You were still stuck in his rookie year thought process where it's no, I drafted him.
He didn't have spike games. He didn't have that 30 or 40 point game. He was scoring 20 points consistently.
Because I drafted him his rookie year in our other league where
redraft.
Yeah, the first draft or the first round, that pick falls off and you don't get to keep him. So I picked him in the first round thinking, I'll get some use out of him this year. And if he doesn't pan out, I just won't draft him again next year. And
so I'll ask you
what ended up happening.
Tyler threw out a good question. I want to ask y'all a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do you draft Travis Hunter in fantasy?
Oh, we've already talked about this off air.
Because there's no guarantee he's playing receiver.
I think you have to wait and see. When does he? Has he said that he was going to declare what position, or is he going to play both?
He doesn't get to decide.
No,
that's true.
So I'm gonna take this one. I'll start this one off. It's gonna really depend on what they announce him as, right? If they announce him as a wide receiver, then okay, I consider it. If they announce him as an athlete or specialist or cornerback, probably not. And even if they announce him as a wide receiver, I don't know if for what I'm going to have to spend to get him, there's just no way I can justify burning that pick.
The other question is, what does he do at the combine if he works out? Is he doing?
He's locked in to a top 10 pick, easy.
But is he going to go to the combine?
I mean,
because if he does, he runs his 40. And then he does the workouts or he does the drills.
He'll probably just do his pro day and he'll do the drills as both.
Yep.
And the reason why I asked this question, Tyler, and for Joey, is
Yes.
that potentially leaves him dropping to potentially the
Second
first pick in the second round. And is that something that Joey takes a shot on? Where
because what happens if I draft him and in training camp they go, well, he's going to play primarily defense.
You got to look.
Right, but the risk you took is worth the reward at the 2-1.
It's I'm shooting my shot. I'm taking a risk. If it pans out where he plays wide receiver, great. I got a second round pick that's a top 10 like I got a top 10 pick in the second round that's a wide receiver. But then if it falls out, then it's like I only wasted a second round pick.
You know who this reminds me of, Shane? The discussion is Brock Bowers from last year. Everybody was so scared off with the first year tight end thing, you know what I mean? And he dropped in a lot of drafts.
Plus, that's not saying
2-2.
I got him. I want to say 2-2,
and I got him 1-9 the other, or 110 in the other one.
Yeah, because I think I was the pick. I had two picks. Yeah, I had two picks and had another one right after, and I was like, I'm gonna get Bowers here, and then he went. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. These draft questions are always fun, and see where they're gonna go. I mean, we don't have the answer for it, but I'm asking one more question before we get off of here and just have some fun with it. You know, we could all say Bijan's rookie year didn't meet expectations easily, right? Mm-hmm. We can say that about Marvin Harrison's season didn't meet expectations. And now I'm not saying moving forward, because I think moving forward we'd all agree we want Bijan. But which rookie season was more disappointing to you, Bijan's or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Bijan.
Fair enough.
Bijan. I think Bijan's a way better talent than Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm not trying to knock Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think that highly of Bijan with his skill set. I think me and Tyler talked about this. And it's not being an LSU homer. I thought Malik Neighbors was a better prospect. You could have made a concession for Brian Thomas. You know, like Brock Bowers. Like these guys were all elite level catchers. You can look at what Lab McConkey did. I think Roma Dunza. It was a very strong receiver class. I didn't see where he was the top one. I don't know if he got it because of his name, or he had easier competition in USC. But Bijan, I thought, was a clear-cut, just stud prospect.
Yeah, Harrison and Ohio State, it wasn't so much the competition I was worried about.
Yeah,
no, you're good. You're good. There was just some place he was running so wide open. And it's like, okay, first and foremost, like it would be busted coverages. But then there'd be other times where he's got coverage on him at Ohio State, and the guy's a lot closer than he should be, right? Like the natural separation wasn't there. And look, I don't know Marvin Harrison Jr. personally, but man, I've said this all offseason or last offseason. There's just so much smoke from BS off the field with him that I didn't want anything. Like I was just like, all right, dude, you're too worried about like being a Hall of Famer and doing all the stuff that and breaking the system and everything like that. Dude, you haven't taken a snap on the field yet. And comes out, he's wildly inconsistent. They can't get him the ball at all. I expect a bounce back, clearly. I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver in this league. But yeah, I'm just going to say right now, I called my shot way early in this podcast about Malik Neighbors.
I don't think he ever cracks the top 10.
I think he does eventually.
I think
with the talented receiver they have in the NFL, I couldn't see him being higher than 15 to 12.
That's fair, dude. If he can get a better quarterback, a more consistent quarterback.
Gotcha. Yep, that's very true on that one too. But man, well, guys, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
It's been a fun episode. You know, we had some trivia. We got to break down. We got to do a new show segment. Talk about a little bit about the Super Bowl and stuff. Saints head coaching search. We'll get more into. Man, we really ran the gambit here, guys.
I don't even want to there was one bit of big news that happened that I'm like, I don't even want to touch. That happened last night with the Pelicans. But
that we
were riding that high of this show. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it next week because they're cursed.
Yeah.
It's
there's a voodoo doll somewhere. We don't know.
I was talking to a guy from Vegas a couple days ago. He was wearing a Vegas Golden Knights jacket.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking hockey, and he's like, "Y'all don't have a hockey team down here." I said, "Well, we used to." And I said, "I would gladly have them back to push the Pelicans back, because the Pelicans are cursed. I don't know what's going on. Zion can't stay healthy. You know, our other big players are getting hurt. We're having to borrow from Birmingham. We might as well relocate to Birmingham. They seem healthier than we are."
Did y'all see where Zion's like upset that he's not playing back-to-backs anymore?
I didn't.
And I'm like, when did you play back-to-backs first off?
Yeah.
I
seem to remember
sucks.
when he played back-to-backs, he was always hurt.
Exactly. So, all right, let's just say positive. Let's not jump into.
Thanks for bringing us down, Joey. After a great episode, thanks for bringing us down.
What I'm here for.
Look, with that being said, we would like to thank you all again for tuning in for another edition of the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. Let us know what y'all think about the new show segment. We have, I think 10 more lined up, Shane, already?
I think so. It's about 10.
Oh, nice. Joey, thank you for being tribute. And until next time, we welcome you back to the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. Take it easy. Later.